When you discovered the law of attraction, you started to believe anything was possible. Life got better, much better. Now you want more, but it's not working. That's where the Manifest It Now show comes in. If you've been waiting for someone who can teach you the practical application to manifest quicker and easier while having more, turn the volume up, because the dynamic duo, Cassie Parks and Ginny Gain, are ready to teach you how to live the law of attraction like they do. It's time to laugh and learn.
Hello and welcome back to this episode of Manifest It Now. I am here with Cassie Parks.
And I'm here with Ginny Gain.
And that was so much fun.
It was, right? I just wanted to start, I don't know, I wanted to start giggling when you were counting down. 3, 2, 1.
I know, I could tell. So today we're going to just come to you and share a little bit of like update. So it's been a few months since we have connected with you guys. We miss you. We miss recording with you. And we wanted to share an update of what's been going on. So we might not have any sort of specific guidance or LOA manifesting anything in this. So if that's what you're looking for, skip ahead to next week and we will catch you there.
Yes. We thought it would be fun just to kind of catch up, tell you what's been going on in our life. And I'm sure that there will be some LOA things weaved in there because we can't really talk about how amazing our lives are without touching on that. But formally, we're not going to do that. We're just going to update you.
Yeah. It's just we live our lives with LOA, so it's just always there. It's that perspective. How'd you feel about that? Oh, well, what led to that? What was the inspiration for that? Totally.
Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, well, what's awesome?
Oh, before I share my kind of bigger news and update, what's awesome is just there has been a lot of space been created intentionally, I would say even since the beginning of this year. Like I had at the beginning of this year intended like space and stepping back and a lot of let's experience a new level of allowing, a new level of not trying. And so the first part of that was hard to do. A little bit hard to like not jump into action and make things happen. And then I settled in and it really became like so joyful. And so now I'm beginning to feel like in a new way how this works. Like how when you create the space on that in a really big way, you're inspired in different ways and different pieces falling into place. And so what's awesome now is like the pieces are coming into place and I can see them and it's clear and I know they came from alignment and inspiration and I'm still not trying to control the journey, which feels so exciting. That's what feels awesome. So I'm mostly talking about my business, but my life as well. Like, of course, because everything, you can't separate. So that's what feels awesome.
I love it. I also wanted to be like, oh, let's talk about space and creating space and make this episode about that. Instantly when you started saying that, I'm
Here
like,
we go.
Yeah, let's for sure do an episode on that, which this episode might turn into that.
Right. This is how we do.
Yeah.
What's awesome with you?
Well, what's awesome is that I want to do a whole episode on space and also so much is awesome, but I'm just going to go with that. We manifested a slide.
For your pool.
For our pool, yeah. And it was just so fun the way it did. It was so fun because it was totally following inspiration. And it's something, again, it's the space. It's been there. Like I was telling Jenny, like this slide has been available in the way that we're going to get it for 10 weeks. Because they were buying it off Facebook Marketplace. And it's been available, but for whatever reason, I haven't been inspired to check that, which that's one of the things I'll like sometimes just put in because that's where we got our other slide. And there's pool slides, and so I'll just very often will check, but there was no inspiration on mine or my partner's part, which is even more interesting, in the last 10 weeks. And we just saw it, and it was like this perfect moment, and we manifested an instant $1,000 for it. And it comes on a week in our pool renting business where we'll make another $1,500 for it. So it's like a wash, or it's just easy and it's fun. And I came up with names because I'm gonna get like signs made for our slides.
Wait, you're gonna name your slide?
Yeah, like, have you ever been to a water park and they name the things, right?
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So this one is gonna be called Positive Spin.
Oh, cool! I love it.
And the little one that you've seen before, Jen, I'm gonna name the Shift.
Oh, cool. Of course,
Yeah.
This is an LOA resort pool.
Of course. So I'm very happy just because it's the same thing you're talking about on a different scale. I mean, there's a lot of things that are similar in my life opening up the same as yours with this space, which is why I think this episode might become about opening space and what happens. But this is the same thing as your kind of what somebody might deem a bigger thing, right? So if we just took the two stories of the slide and the story you're gonna share, and maybe a story that I'll share as well about life, you would say people would say one is bigger and one is literal, maybe. And number one, we don't do that because it's all part of it, right? And it's all the same thing. But it's so fun because really what we have done this summer is give space to what I will call like our Airbnb and our pool business. For listeners, we can dive into this story too, but we've opened Airbnb at our house, which we love and is so much fun and so cool. And, we really wanted to leave space after making some investments, to get going in our Airbnb. Like my intention was like, okay, let's just have some space without investing for a while. Because even though investing, we would do it in what feels good, it would all these things, it would check all of the quote unquote boxes I might normally say. I really felt like, okay, I want space around this. I want space to let things unfold instead of to keep moving it forward.
Yeah. That's really interesting too. It's a piece that plays into, so space from investments is a piece that plays into our unfolding, because at the beginning we spent a lot of investing on our house last year, actually since we've owned it.
Us too.
Yeah. And so at the beginning of this year, we both intentionally were like, okay, let's take a break from putting money into the house right now, even though it's great. And we love updating it and improving it. Let's put some different places for other experiences. And part of what that did, and then basically maybe 4 or 5 months down the road, we came into a larger chunk of money that it was always there. It wasn't like we didn't win the lottery or anything. It just became clear, like, oh, actually this money, if we take this money over here and we invest it into the house, that's going to give us this and open up this. And it was the answer, or the clarity around that decision wasn't apparent to us until we had given it 4 months of like holding that space of not investing, so we could see the clear path of where that money was used best. And so because the situation didn't change, the money was always there, we just didn't see it. And so I don't think I even shared that part with you, Cass. So once we made that decision, so then we were investing in our house, and then we did this beautiful update on our kitchen and really opened the whole house up. And there was so much more flow and space in the house. And then part of that, during that experience, financially allowed us to make all these choices about our money that was being more intentional and more in alignment with who we want to be. So I'm sure Cassie comes into this all the time in her work, and same as mine, and just not so specifically with money, is like being very conscious with the money that's coming in and out of our house, in our lifestyles. And with that came this other opening. I am going to get to it, guys. I am going to share what the exciting part of this is. New kitchen, great.
I just want to pause.
Okay.
Because the kitchen was exciting until the next opening came.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, we got through this, and I don't want anyone to miss that part or think that that wasn't true. It was like, you're like, oh, we're getting rid of this. And there was a lot of things that tied into this space that you were creating. I remember about the countertops, and you were like, I don't clean the countertops because they're never clean.
That's
true. Right? But even though that, like, it makes us both laugh and it seems silly, it's a way that you were living in this change that, which keeps opening that space, right? Because it opens more of what you want space.
Yes.
So I just want people to not think like Jenny just went through this and it wasn't exciting. It is most exciting now because this bigger thing has opened, but each step was exciting.
And like these steps started when way back 2 years ago when we put our order in for windows to create more space. And then they came.
Was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago. They just got installed like at the beginning of this year. And so having the windows in, that was a big first one. We did our bathroom. That was another big one. Then this was our kitchen. So there's been all these little pieces, and we've been called each time. Like we've been paying attention. What feels inspired now? How do we want to flow this money? How do we want to feel in our home? And like making this home suit and fit and align with us and what we want to experience bit by bit by bit. So all of those steps have now led to the inspiration, and it's like pure, it's so clear. It's one of those like most right decisions. Like I always talk about one of the clearest decisions of me knowing what was right was when I met Lee, and like I'm like, oh, I'm going to marry this person. Like it was there was clarity, there was knowing. And it's the same feeling with this decision to sell the house, and we're going to buy an RV, and then we're going to go live on the road. And so it's all, there's so much goodness around this, like of the unfolding and the perfection, and how even, there's so many things. I could go on forever. I could talk for 30 minutes just about this, how this is so perfect for us and all the pieces of this decision coming in.
Yes. I want to come back to space, but can I share a middle part? Because I think what happens is a lot of times we forget what I'm going to call the things that we think aren't working out.
Yes.
And we forget those. And I want to share this in the story because it's so clear. And when it happened, I was like, yep, this is lining something else up.
Yeah.
So there is actually like a different situation, right? You were thinking about creating an Airbnb in your garage.
Yes. This was one of our ideas. Yes.
Yes. And you went down that path and you did a couple things, and just because of citizenship and business and the time it takes to qualify for things, like it just didn't work out, right?
Yes.
Like it wasn't. And
for
me,
yeah. I'll share a little more details of that because it kind of makes it clearer. So when, we were going to leverage the money on the house, like refinance and get the money and redo the garage, except I had no credit because I haven't, like my credit is so low because I haven't been in the country long enough. And so I couldn't access that money. And Lee just started a new job, so he didn't, like, you have to have 2 years. And so we had no way to access that money that we would have put into the house. And at the time, it actually felt like something was going wrong for a second, but then we were both like, something else is coming here. And then we just left it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I think our listeners, the reason I want to bring that up is because I think our listeners sometimes stay there a lot longer than you did.
Right.
It's like, what did I do wrong? Because I think you even said to me when we were kind of talking about it, like, oh, I was totally in alignment. I was getting all this. And I'm just thinking to myself, is this all, I don't know what's happening, but this is right. This is right. Like the reason it's not aligned isn't because you didn't have a good enough money mindset. which is very often what people think. It's because what you actually wanted opened up. And now if I were to put those two choices, right, stay in your house and have an Airbnb in your garage, or go on the road in an RV, which would you choose?
Oh yeah, like get rid of the house and go in the RV.
Yes.
And so,
like it was just, yeah.
It's interesting though, because we were still thinking about this. So like even last year I opened up a journal. This is funny. And it was like what to do, how to get the house ready to go live on the road. But at that time we were thinking of doing that, like renting it, therefore keeping the house and making money that way. But it still did, like that path did not unfold easily for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, it wasn't I don't even want to say it was a how, because it was just you were letting it unfold and playing with ideas, right? But that very often, I think people miss just the steps of inspiration, and they get hung up on that as being the answer instead of the next step. And that's what can get you out of the way. So listeners, if you're like, well, you know, sometimes I think this is going to happen, but it doesn't. It's just inspiration. It's just to get you moving in that direction, moving closer to what you really want.
Yes. This idea of like one step at a time and to trust the step you're in. So trust that. Well, I will say, I want to bring this in too, the vision for us to spend time on the road. So it wasn't even like living on the road. It wasn't, you guys heard me talk about going out west and buying a mountain place. Like that's all still in the vision. And we had to be so general in the vision that we're sharing. Like it wasn't live on the road. It's like spend time on the road in our life. That's it. That was as specific as we got. And so then once we know that's going to happen someday, like that's a given. Now we can focus on what's the thing in front of me. How am I inspired right now? What feels exciting right now?
And I think I want to point this out because this is again, people get messed up and we think we have to set into this perfect intention, right? Which means I'm living in a mountain house, or I'm doing this, or this specificity, right? And it's spend time on the road. Feel like you can just feel it when you say it. Feels so open. Yeah, it feels free, right? Just because there is no we live here, we live there, we this, we that. Yeah. Nothing is planned. And so while it might feel better to other people to plan, that's not the point. The point is being clear about what you want and what feels good. And what very often happens when it starts to tighten up and that energy starts to close, or we start to try and control it, is that we don't think just stating what we want is enough. Yeah. But Jenny is skilled enough, and Lee too, to be like, oh, we just want to spend time on the road. And to know that's enough. That's enough to open everything.
Yeah. That's enough for the path to unfold.
Yes.
And I think it's essential and worth the effort or the attention to find a way to talk about your desires or your dream that you're in alignment with. Because there were times when I was like living on the road, or let's spend a year on the road, or let's buy an RV and go for a trip. None of those felt like there wasn't the alignment there. So it took a little bit for us to come to even those words to describe what we wanted. And that's like, because how I felt about it, that's what allows the door to open to the steps.
Yeah. And I want to point this out where I think people get off in this nuanced space that we're in, is that instead of backing off and leaving space and saying, no, that doesn't feel good, right? Oh, just taking a trip. No, that's not it. Instead of being willing to say no and just be okay and sit in that space of, oh, well, I don't have another thing. If that's a no, then like people struggle to find the yes, which generally means controlling more, getting more detailed, like diving in and just trying to really like, oh, well, no, I want to go on the road 26 weeks of the year, and I want to go to 10 hot places and 10 cold places and 10 in the fall and 10, like if that no, most people won't just sit with, no, that's not it, and let inspiration and leave the space for other things to come and to really get clear about what you want, they dive into controlling more and more details. And those details often shut the door. Number one reason, because they're not exactly what you want.
Yeah. It's almost like if you catch yourself saying or feeling resistance towards what you want, let it be enough to know that it's not clear yet. Like, oh, okay, that's, that's that dream or that desire, that want, it's not clear yet. That's all right. And just open the space for it to become clear, but you don't have to figure it out.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to say it again. Like, just leave the space. Be okay with it not being clear yet. Be okay with that. My clients would know, I would say, like, sit in the uncomfortableness of not having the exact plan, not doing all the things, not having it planned out so specifically.
And listen, I am going to, if I'm not already, I'm going to become an expert at not having the plan. And so I will share everything I learn with you as we embark on this adventure. So, Cass, so what is new, and share some updates in your experience?
Well, I think we have about 2 minutes left in this episode, so I will just share.
I took up all the time.
It's cool because it was a big lesson. It doesn't matter to me. I just like talking LOA and pointing things out. And my journey recently really parallels yours, just leaving some more space. Probably the most space I've ever left. And part of it was, actually I didn't push. We needed stairs built for our Airbnb to get going. And which is Denver Pool Spa Stay, in case anyone wants to know. We need stairs to be built, and I didn't push that. I would pick it up and I'd put it down. And so we started the process of the Airbnb in October. It went live like June 24th, which is ironically a year from the day that we had our first pool booking.
Oh, so that is so cool.
I just put that together, right? Yeah. So just not pushing and leaving that space and allowing what needed to happen. And it worked out better. Like, we ended up really getting the stairs we paid for materials, but we also had some of them, and our friend ended up building the majority of the stairs while we were on vacation, and they were watching our dogs. And so, which is awesome and just like so fun. And so just leaving that space and not having to push, even if you know with everything in you, like, this is going to be amazing and I want to create it today, being okay that it's not here yet and it's not created today has been amazing, because we've really opened up the space for the Airbnb, and it's fun and growing, and it's a learning process, which I actually love. And just, all of that. I think that's where I'll wrap up for today.
Yeah, I mean, that's the essence to it all, right? Is like loving where we are and then being excited for more. So there's a million ways we could say that, but like exactly just what Cass said is letting it be great where you are, and that opens up the space for what's next.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, we will see you guys next week. Have a great one.
Bye.
Go be awesome. Thank you for joining us on the Manifest It Now show, where you learn how to leverage the law of attraction to manifest your dreams. Now that you're inspired, share the love and review us on iTunes. While you're there, remember to subscribe.